Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/AmITheDevil for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading the posts, giving you my own opinion, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to wear makeup? I'm 23, and she's the same. We've been together a while now, about a year, and we're always with each other, and we talk about everything. We're basically each other's best friend. Well, the thing is, I notice all these other girls wear makeup and she doesn't. She's completely fine with not wearing makeup, but it sort of bugs me. It's not like she's ugly without it, I just think she would look so much better. Like, she would glow. I don't know what the big deal is for her to wear makeup. So, earlier today, I asked her before we went out to eat with my parents if she could put some makeup on. She got mad at me, saying how much she hates it, and she put me in an awkward spot. I didn't know how to advance the argument because she was so stern on not wearing makeup, but she finally gave in to my pestering and decided to put on some of her sister's makeup, but I could tell she was furious with me. I told her she should drop the attitude because it's not a big deal and I don't want her to bring the energy for dinner. And now she's making a big deal about me not respecting her wishes. If she wanted me to do something for her, I'll do it. It's not that big of a deal. I know she's her own person, but when you're in a relationship, you sort of make compromises for one another. Am I the asshole for asking her to put on a little makeup? Edit. Just so everyone knows, I'm a good boyfriend, and we hardly ever fight. We're good for each other. We have a lot of things in common, and of course, I see the value in her besides her outward appearance. We're seeing this long term, hopefully. Even though she can be a little stubborn, but every relationship have shells and layers that can be peeled. It just takes time, and that's fine. I know makeup isn't important, but it's a small compromise. I'm not forcing her to do anything. She's free to do whatever she wants with her body. I'm 100% supportive of her decisions in life. Comments. Pocket Novelist comments, "You're the asshole. She put you in an awkward spot? You're the one who made a thing of this. You say it's no big deal, yet you made it a big deal. You basically punctured her self-esteem. Until now, she's been comfortable with her looks, comfortable enough not to feel the need to hide them under an inch of makeup. I sincerely hope she finds someone who loves her for her natural look and doesn't try to impose his own standards of beauty on her. She deserves much better." OP responds, "I'm not asking for an inch of makeup, just a little here and there. I don't see the big deal. It's like asking me to wear a different shirt or put a hat on. That's disrespectful to hope that we break up over a little incident. Please don't say such things." Forest Fawn 5 responds, "So when she said no, did you take that no for an answer? Because that's what asking is. Accepting the response you were given, not forcing her to put makeup on in the end." OP responds further, "I figured if I asked her enough, she would do it, and I was right." Yeah! Yeah for OP! Yeah for OP for 1,000 years! There are going to be a lot of people who are unfamiliar with the main channel and Miet, and are going to be very confused by that, but a lot of you are probably going to be extremely excited to hear that voice again, after so many years. Another comment from OP, by the way, just unprompted under his own post. "I'm not a girl, only girls wear makeup." User Loopy-Loo responds, "Says who? Many men wear it. A few make a good living off doing so." OP responds further, "You know what I mean. Quit saying stuff like that." So my personal pet theory is the reason why OP commented that unprompted under his own post is because a lot of people were telling him to go put on makeup or to try putting on makeup, just so he has like an inkling of an understanding of how much effort actually goes into it, that it's not just like you're putting on a new hat or changing a shirt. It takes so much time and effort, and it's not just a simple one-and-done situation. And he just took it as, "I'm not a girl, why would I do that?" I've had to wear makeup on camera for streams because sometimes the light just does not reflect off of skin properly, and like, you have to put on certain shades of makeup so that way you look decent. Done that maybe twice in my entire time streaming, and it's usually also to conceal like really bad acne or something. It happens, and I'm extremely self-conscious, so I wanted to wear some, but I also had to wear some that wasn't in my skin tone, so that way I would actually appear that I had my skin tone on camera, because lighting is weird and it's spawned by the devil. And the few times that I actually had to wear makeup so that way I would look decent on camera, yeah, that was a lot of effort, and then taking it off was also a lot of effort. And I hate the way that it sits on your skin too. It's like an extra amount of weight and it just doesn't feel good. Another comment. This one's posted by Mother of Crotch Fruit. You're the asshole. Newsflash, no one is required to wear makeup for you. Not only are you the asshole for asking her, you're an even bigger asshole for pestering her into it, and then being mad at her for an attitude. Hope you end up single. Peace sign. OP responds, wow, that was disrespectful. Thanks. User Small Artist 98 responds, we all hope you end up single. As a final note, because this really is just tomatoes in the stockade kind of situation here, I find it really gross that OP's main response to when everyone's calling him a bad boyfriend is, no, I am a good boyfriend. You guys don't understand. Relationships are like shells and layers. You gotta peel them back. It reads more like OP is more interested in stripping away what makes his girlfriend herself and just wants her to be a doll on the shelf. Stripping away all that personality, one layer at a time. You ask her something ridiculous, she's not happy with it. Don't bring that attitude to dinner, by the way. What a fucking clown. Cross-posted from r/marriage advice. My 35 male wife, 35 female, is not a good mother. How do I navigate this? Throwaway account because my wife is on Reddit. My 35 male wife, 35 female, and I are parents to a 17-month-old girl. My wife had a difficult pregnancy with lots of complications and suffered from prepartum anxiety and depression. However, when our daughter was born, she was the perfect mother. She did all the nights, wakings, and feeds, stayed at home with the baby until she was 8 months old. Our daughter was always clean, well-dressed, well-fed, and entertained. Things started taking a turn for the worst after that, when my wife went back to work. She started having anxiety attacks regularly again, and her mood was in a downward spiral until she was diagnosed with severe postpartum depression. Around this time, she started doing less and less around the house and delegated more and more tasks to me. At one point, she needed help all the time with the baby in the house. She stopped doing dishes, cleaning, and washing, and it all fell on me. She also didn't want to be home alone with the baby. She was in bed or on the sofa most of the time on a cocktail of benzos, antidepressants, and antipsychotics. For months, she said the medication and therapy weren't working. Around this time, she also started to care less and less about our daughter. If she could delegate meals, nappy changes, bedtime routine, and entertainment, she would. I found myself doing more and more, even though my wife and I had always agreed that we'd do 50-50. This lasted 8 months. At one point, I was exhausted and done with this. I told her either she got better or I would ask for divorce. I have to confess, by then, I didn't love my wife and didn't feel attracted to her anymore. Her personality was completely obliterated by the meds, and all she could do was complain that she was anxious over nothing, all the time. Eventually, she found a combo of meds that started working. She got better. She started doing more around the house and taking better care of our daughter, but was still seriously falling short of 50-50. Fast forward to now, she's doing better. She changed jobs. She got out of bed. But she still delegates tasks to me whenever she can, and I don't remember the last time she did the dishes. When she's with our daughter, she just sits there on her phone most of the time and barely interacts with her. She only bathes her twice a week. She doesn't prepare our daughter meals and feeds her supermarket baby food. As soon as I get home, she expects me to take over entertaining the baby. If she can skirt around meal and bedtime, she will. I had a serious talk with her about this, and at one point I told her she was a bad mother who ignores her daughter most of the time. She cried and accused me of being cruel because apparently being a bad mother is one of her biggest fears. I don't know how else to handle this. I'm just exhausted and feel terrible for our baby. Too long didn't read, wife is not a good mother. I'm exhausted. I don't know how else to support her. Hey, when you were getting married to your wife, did you redact the part of your vows that were in sickness and in health, just out of curiosity? Because what you also just described, by the way, sounds like your wife is doing far more than 50-50, and you're having to kind of pick up some of the slack because she's not doing okay. She's got a lot going on. She's postpartum, and she already had to recover from being prepartum, so, she's dealing with it, dude. Sickness and in health. She's getting better, but it's gonna take some time. But she was already on that shit from day one, 8 months off of work, constantly taking care of the child, constantly being there. And by the way, when you say She doesn't do the dishes anymore? Are you the one cooking or is she cooking? Just out of curiosity. Because keep in mind, you open this up with the fact that she did all the nights, wakings, and feeds and stayed home with the baby until the baby was 8 months old. How is that 50-50? And now she has a job and she's, oh God, expecting help with the baby and holy shit, getting supermarket baby food. Oh God, the horror. Wait. I just checked his post history. Posted r/AmITheAsshole with an H. Am I the asshole for calling my wife a bad mother? Removed. Posted to r/AmITheJerk? Removed. Posted to r/relationship advice? Removed. Posted to r/marriage advice? Not removed. Posted to r/parenting? Removed. Posted to r/postpartum depression. Dude, you are not gonna get the fucking help you're looking for there. Posted to r/parenting French. And the whole post is in French. Then posted to r/another French subreddit, and again, same thing, but in French. And then following up with a bunch of French comments, tearing them a new one. So when Buddy didn't get the answer he wanted, he just kept cycling through the subreddits hoping to find someone to tell him, damn dude, you got it hard. You just admitted you fell out of love with your wife because she's sick. And rather than trying to help her and comfort her while she deals with this, well, you're not pulling your weight 50-50. You're not even doing the dishes anymore. You're a really bad mother. Damn, how dare my bitch wife ask me to take over childcare when I get home? This isn't 50-50 at all. Where's my meal? Why aren't the dishes done? How fucking dare you buy supermarket baby food? I also noticed that in your entire post, you didn't mention what you do once. You didn't mention how you help around the house once. You just listed all the things your wife is no longer doing while she's sick. What the fuck do you do? Besides complain on Reddit. Cross-posted from r/relationship advice. Feeling shocked and confused after I, 22 male, saw my girlfriend, 21 female, without makeup. How do I navigate? My girlfriend and I have been officially dating for less than a week, but we've seen each other for about 2 months. Things have been really good, and we've gone on nice dates. We're taking things slow physically, no sex yet, and we've just been getting to know each other. One thing I never really noticed until recently was how much makeup she wears, or maybe she's just not very good at applying it, and I genuinely couldn't tell. Her makeup always looked really natural, so I never gave it much thought. If I really paid attention, I might have seen a little skin texture, but nothing that stood out. The other night, we were at a party, and both of us got tipsy. We ended up in a bedroom, the lights were off, and we started making out pretty heavily. It was hot, sweaty, and her face was kind of smushed against my chest. I wasn't wearing a shirt. We eventually fell asleep like that. I woke up before she did, and that's when I noticed most of her makeup had rubbed off during the night, and I saw her bare skin for the first time. She had really inflamed red areas on her cheeks and chin, breakouts on her forehead. It looked painful, like cystic acne. It shocked me because she looked so different from what I was used to. It was one of those moments where part of me, if I'm being brutally honest, felt kind of deceived. Which is harsh, I know. It was more shock than actual twinge of feeling turned off by how she looked, but it really did feel like I was seeing a completely different person. I started wondering if she thought I was too clueless to ever notice, or if she just hoped I wouldn't care. When she woke up, I think she realized what happened. She looked embarrassed and went straight to the bathroom and stayed there for a while. I told her it was okay, that she didn't have to hide, and that her skin didn't matter to me. I said what I thought was the decent thing to say. But now I'm questioning if I actually meant it deep down, because truthfully, I haven't been able to stop thinking about how different she looked. I haven't ghosted her or anything, but I've definitely been keeping busy. I don't know what to say to her. She's picked up on it and is clearly anxious over text, but I still don't know how to respond without either lying or hurting her feelings. The whole thing's made me wonder if I rushed into this too quickly. She wanted some commitment, and I liked her enough to do that. Maybe I should have pushed back gently, and we should have spent more time dating casually, getting to know each other fully before getting official. I didn't expect to feel this way, but now that I do, I don't know what the right step is. I know some people might read this and instantly call me shallow. I've already run that accusation through my own head, but here's where I'm genuinely trying to understand the line. To me, there's a difference between someone wanting to look their best, to feel confident and put together, and someone who's consistently presenting a version of themselves that's so curated it creates a false baseline of what they actually look like. That distinction matters. Recalling some memories, I can tell now she wore full-face makeup even for a casual coffee run. I've dated someone with skin issue before, but it didn't change how attracted I was to her. I fully understand that she doesn't owe me the vulnerability, especially not early on, but I do need to agree with the idea that her use of so much makeup was also about presenting a curated/false version of herself and not just wanting to look her best. What if her idea of makeup is really to change her whole face? I'm not claiming to be the victim here, but I also can't say she's entirely without responsibility in all this. She knew her natural skin might significantly affect how I saw her, and yet she allowed me to think this is what she looked like. So I'm also a little miffed with her. I don't know if I want to break up with her. She's a good person, but if I continue dating her, I'd want to force an honest conversation with her. Did you actually just say, but I do need to agree with the idea, ... and then presented your own idea as if you're agreeing with yourself? You're calling her shallow? Dude, it's acne. You don't know for a fact if it's cystic acne, but even if it is, it's a skin condition that she's dealing with and probably very mortified by and hates having. I don't think anyone would enjoy having cystic acne because that shit is painful. It is probably something she is still actively working through, and considering how embarrassing that can be, I don't blame her for wearing a face of makeup. But the thing is, acne's not permanent. The scarring might be, but even if so, if she wants to try to cover that up so that way she doesn't have to get questions or looks or people like you judging her about it constantly, I don't blame her. Dude, like, she's not wearing the makeup just to deceive you. She's wearing the makeup because this is probably a really deep-seated insecurity that she's been trying to navigate and is struggling to find an actual way to mitigate it or get rid of it or deal with it. Or it could just be a really nasty acne flare-up that you caught her on, and it's just not been a fun time. I've dated other people with skin conditions in the past. I'm not claiming to be the victim here, but she's not entirely without responsibility. Do you fucking hear yourself? You claim to have dated someone with a skin condition in the past, yet you can't comprehend the idea of why they maybe possibly wanted to mitigate the appearance of it? Also, I can only assume that either she doesn't have cystic acne, I mean, you did after all say like cystic acne, which means she might just have a horrific flare-up of adult acne, or she has a very mild case of cystic acne that's easier to cover up with makeup, because cystic acne gets 3D really quickly and extremely painful. But it's all good, everyone. He's not claiming to be the victim here, so everything's alright. Cross posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole? Kicked out of the cinema for eating too loudly. I went to my local cinema last night for a bit of air conditioning reprieve in the UK heatwave and to watch Obsession. I'm a regular cinema goer and choose not to pay the crazy prices for their snacks / prefer something healthier, so I take my own. About 20 minutes into the film, I decide it's my time to enjoy said snack. After opening the bag and trying to eat quietly, I hear a shh from someone in the room. I think that it can't be from me, and must be someone chatting over on their side, so I carry on. After another angry shh and a glare, I realize it is me it's directed at. The cinema had some people in it, but it wasn't packed. I don't really get it. I've paid the same for my seat as everyone else has. I go to the cinemas often. I was alone and not bothering anyone. Yes, my snack was a bit crunchy and perhaps louder than average, but it's seemingly okay for people to munch on their popcorn / nachos with no issue. I said as much to the person, who got a member of cinema staff, and after a bit of heated discussion, I was asked to leave. I'm stunned. This has literally never happened to me before. So am I the asshole? I'm not gonna knock you for bringing food from the outside into the cinema because I think a lot of us have done that. But at the same time, we don't know what snack you had. What snack was it? What snack was so loud that it had people actually being distracted from the movie and turning to you? Because I've definitely had my fair share of noisy snacks, but I'm hyper aware of how much noise I'm making and try to be as silent as possible. Or what I'll do is I'll get some popcorn, eat some of the popcorn, and if it's a salty snack, I'll pour the salty snack in with the popcorn. So that way it's kind of like a nice mix and blended, and I don't have to listen to the bag ruffling around. Or if it's sweet, then I'll make similar arrangements. There are ways to minimize the amount of sound you make so that way it's easy going for other cinema goers and you're not being a complete fucking distraction. On top of that, when people were telling you to be more quiet, your response was in the middle of a movie to start arguing, well, people bring popcorn and nachos all the time, so what's the issue? Like, you started arguing with them during the movie, ruining multiple people's cinema-going experience to the point where you had to get kicked out. According to the comments, it's something called Rivita sticks, or Rivita sticks? Anyways, it's been compared to pretty much chewing shrapnel, and the packaging is also super loud. Never had them, so I wouldn't know. But it's behavior like this, and like, just OP how inconsiderate he is while in the cinema, as to one of the reasons why I just tend to avoid going to the cinema in general. I used to really enjoy it, but now, not so much. I'll either go to a midnight showing, or I'll just avoid it and wait for it to come out at streaming. Why would I want to sit in a theater full of people who are going to talk or be inconsiderate, or, I don't know, just eat snacks loudly, or be on their phone, or have a soft conversation with the person next to them, or provide their own commentary track to the movie we're all watching? It's reasons like this why I just wait for movies to come out at home. And it's kind of sad, because I actually really do like this cinema experience. It's a fun way to get out of the house and have just a good night out. You go watch a movie, then you go get food with your friends. So that way we're all sitting around the table, talking and eating and just having a good time. But it's becoming harder and harder to actually want to pursue that kind of experience because of just other people at the cinema. Like OP. He's out here really being like, I paid for my seat to be here. Yeah, so did everyone else, and they paid to watch a movie, not listen to you eat your loud-ass chips. Cross posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my kids' hair products? My son is going to be a junior next school year. For the past year or so, he's become increasingly more specific and expensive on his appearance. He has an older brother, 17, and a younger sister, 8, and none of them are like this. For the past year, I've had to buy cleansers, moisturizers, sunscreen, $15 shampoo that lasts maybe 2 months, $15 conditioner that lasts maybe a month, and hair oils that need to be replaced every 2 months that are $10 each, etc. We're African, and I've never had to use such meticulous selection of products on my hair. Mostly because I keep my hair short. There's your answer. Then the clothes. T-shirts he likes that cost $15 to $25, jeans that are $40, things like that. So yesterday, when he asked me to replace a hair oil and leave-in conditioner, I literally bought, just on Easter. I was kind of mad. Easter was like 2.5 months ago. I told him I wouldn't buy it, and that I'd just be having him use the cheaper stuff from Burlington/Marshalls. That works the exact same. That was a whole back and forth before he decided to stop. I'm not trying to sound like I'm being cheap, because he does have an iPhone 16. We go on vacation yearly, and I bought him shoes that cost almost $225 for Christmas. I think all the extras he's asking for are ridiculous. Am I the asshole? Hey, can you point me in the direction for that super expensive shampoo that costs $15 that lasts for 2 months for long hair? I'd really appreciate that. Like, a lot. Like, that'd be really cool, dude, if you could point me in that direction. Because that dude, I don't think you get it. $15 to $25 for t-shirts is actually also a pretty good price nowadays as well. Especially if the material's good. And $40 for jeans? That's also, like, not a bad value either. You buy him $225 shoes, so you recognize the value of purchasing things that are expensive for the higher quality. But at the same time, like, you're throwing a fit over the fact that he's actually taking care of himself. That he's actually trying to do good by his skin and his hair. And like, for the amounts that you're complaining, $15 2 months, $15 a month, $10 every 2 months that are each. So let's just, I don't know, let's just be really over the top here and just round it to the moon, and we'll say $50 a month. Actually, to make the math easier, $60 a month. You can't spare $2 a day so your son feels more confident in his skin. You can buy him $225 shoes for Christmas, an iPhone 16, yearly vacations, but $2 a day, which is also rounding hella up. That's too much. Also, just like on a side note, finding conditioner that works for your hair is extremely difficult, and if he found one that he can use over 2 months for $15 that works well for his hair, you should be thankful. I'm in the boat where my conditioner is like $40 a month just so my hair doesn't feel icky. An amusing conversation that I found in the r/AmITheAsshole portion of the post. User Adomingo2 comments, I opened this expecting for these products to cost a lot more. $15 for shampoo that lasts 2 months is not unreasonable. User Flattered Pawn responds further, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That's like the cost of a single meal. My mom would think her prayers are answered if my brother wanted a $15 bottle of shampoo because that meant he intended to shower. And additionally, just some other comments from OP. Yes, I'd say so. Does extra chores, cooks for his dad, helps his sister with homework, and gets good grades. He's a 3.9 to 4.0 student. My kids don't get allowance. I don't know, when I was a kid, I didn't get money for just existing. No job, and his ability to get one is semi-impacted by our vacations we take over the summer. Plus, he's only 15. I don't want them to work over the school year either, though, because he's taking APs and honors, so I don't want him to worry about a job when we don't need help with the bills or anything. So you're financially secure, taking vacations every summer, able to get him $225 shoes on a whim. He helps around the house in a shit ton of ways. He cooks, he helps with his dad, he helps with homework, he gets good grades, does extra chores, doesn't get an allowance, and he just wants the hair care products that he needs so he feels good about himself. I think your son is being more than reasonable here, in my opinion. Posted to r/confessions. I deleted my brother's voicemail so my father wouldn't call him back. A few years ago, my brother and my father had a serious argument and stopped speaking to each other. I was angry with my brother too. I felt like he had hurt the family and then disappeared instead of dealing with the consequences. One evening, while helping my father with his phone, I noticed a new voicemail from my brother. He sounded nervous and said he wanted to apologize. He asked my father to call him when he was ready. I deleted it. My father never knew the message existed. My brother assumed he had heard it and chosen not to respond. For months, I watched both of them become more and more convinced that the other person didn't care. My father would say that my brother was too proud to reach out. My brother told me he had tried and received his answer through silence. I could have corrected everything at one point, but every week that passed made admitting it harder. Eventually, they started speaking again on their own, but they lost nearly a year because I decided I had the right to control when they reconciled. Neither of them knows what I did. What bothers me most is that I didn't delete the message in a moment of panic. I listened to the whole thing, thought about it, and then deliberately erased it because I wanted my brother to feel punished. I think you should see a psychiatrist. That is incredibly malicious and just, like, you don't even feel remorse. Like, not once in the whole thing, you're just like, yeah, I did it, listened to the whole thing, did it because I felt my brother needed to be punished more. And, sure, yeah, they lost a year because I decided I had the right to control when they reconciled. Is what it is. They have no idea it was me. Your brother tried to make things right, and they lost a year of connection because you decided you had that control. Because if you actually felt bad or guilty, at any point, you could have just been like, hey, I was talking to my brother, and my brother says he tried reaching out to you when he left a voicemail. Have you heard anything like that? Well, maybe you two should try talking. And then boom, you don't have to take accountability like a snake, and they get to be actually able to reconcile. But instead, you just sat there and was like, they gotta reconcile on my terms. Yikes, dude. I wanted my brother to be punished for trying to avoid consequences of his actions, so I deleted his voicemail trying to make things right, and over the year, just never corrected the narrative because I'm avoiding the consequences of my actions. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for not inviting my stepdad to my wedding? Hi, I'm 28 female and I'm getting married in late November. I'm really excited and already started planning and saving. Recently, I've fallen into some drama about it. My mom got a divorce from my dad when I was 19. I was already out of the house and in college and never really knew what that whole situation was like. From what my younger sister said, it wasn't pretty, and my mom and dad aren't on speaking terms. However, during college, I met the absolute love of my life. He's the best man I could have ever met, and the reason I truly believe in love. Straight out of college, we moved in together, so I never really went back home. However, my mom remarried just over a year ago, and I now have a stepdad. But I would never really call him that. He's never been a dad to me, and even during holidays, I don't really go back home. I see my dad, then go hang out with my soon-to-be husband's family. I've had a few conversations with him, but he's nothing more than an acquaintance to me. For my wedding, it's gonna be huge. We have about 300 people already confirmed and RSVP'd to my wedding. It's being held in my fiance's family's ranch. I've invited a lot of my family, his, friends, and then when it came down to my parents, I got iffy. I know that I'm inviting my dad, hell, he's walking me down the aisle, but I know that having my mom there is also just as important. However, I just don't see the value in having my stepdad there. We already have so many people, and nobody's really allowed a +1 unless approved, so I don't get why I'd have to make an exception for him. Anyways, when my mom received her invitation, and when she saw that her husband didn't get one, and I specifically said no +1s, she messaged me, and we began to fight. She keeps saying I'm an asshole for not letting her husband come to my wedding, and that having him there is importance to him, which he doesn't even fucking know me? Sorry for cursing, just genuinely upsetting. Why does this practically random man care if he goes to my wedding or not? Then she brought up about how my dad and his new wife get to come. And I don't even know how she got that info, and that to me is a whole different issue. Regardless, my mom got really mad and called me a lot of names, and we kinda had a falling out. The last thing she said was that if her husband, my stepdad, couldn't come, then she wouldn't either. It's upsetting because I do want my mom there. I could really care less about her husband, and I guess I'm paranoid if things happen when my mom and dad see each other again. I don't know when the last time they saw each other was. Ugh. Anyways, this is long. Am I the asshole for not inviting my mom's husband? Update. Hey, I don't know if anyone will see this, but I have a small update. When I originally posted this, I assumed I'd maybe get 3 little comments. Holy crap, was I wrong, but that's okay. I've really read through every single one, and even though it's hard to take criticism, it's well needed, and I know has good intent. My mom and I had a great brunch earlier today, and we really talked. I laid out everything on the table about how I felt and why I felt that my mom's husband wasn't a necessity at my wedding. It was a hard conversation I won't get too much into. The overall consensus of the conversation was how my mom's husband entered my life and how we just simply don't know each other. And believe me, I heard a lot about that in the comments, and I get it. I'm to blame for it. However, my mom also apologized. Neither of us really make an effort to see each other, so no shit I don't know her husband. Anyways, I'm currently making another invitation I plan to personally give my mom's husband. I understand how much I probably also hurt him in this whole situation, and I really want to thank you guys for dragging me because truly, it was the only way to get it through my thick skull. Bless all of you. Well, okay, I'm glad that OP in the end understands that they went wrong and actually talked through it. Like, that's good. They learned from their mistakes. But I do just want to point out the big, massive mistake, in case it wasn't there, of them inviting 300 people, but not your mom's new husband, who you refer to as an acquaintance. Are you really going to say that every single person there out of the 300 people are just beyond acquaintances? Every single person out of the 300. Because it was crazy that you were just taking the approach that out of 300 people, you just didn't have enough room to invite your mom's husband. But you were totally okay with inviting your dad's new wife. Like, yeah, that would upset anyone, because that is definitely a really kind of crazy double standard. And you almost seemed really more upset about the fact that she found out about the fact that your father was bringing his wife, and not the fact that you were excluding her husband, her next chapter of her life. But massive kudos for not doubling down on their opinion, or for deciding that, no, I'm right, all of you are wrong. Listening to what people were saying, understanding her flaw, sitting down with her mom, realizing where she fucked up, apologizing, talking about it, realizing, oh yeah, I guess if I don't really visit or talk to you, yeah, I'm not really gonna know your husband, who, yeah, doesn't know me because I'm not putting any effort into finding out what's new with your life. And then deciding, not only am I gonna invite your husband, I'll deliver the invitation personally. Those are phenomenal steps to rebuilding and potentially even starting a new relationship that'll be beyond acquaintances, and maybe even you'll find that you really enjoy having a stepfather. Great work, OP. Cross-posted from r/AmITheJerk. Am I the jerk for telling my sister and her husband what their daughter does for work? I have a 19-year-old niece. Oh boy. I have a 19-year-old niece who told us she works remotely for an online business, responding to customer messages. She occasionally said she needed to go into an office for training, but otherwise would work from her room. Our family was supportive, and she seemed to be doing pretty okay financially, buying things for herself and saving a bit of money. Recently, I came across her secret TikTok where she was directing people to paid adult videos she makes. Some of her posts also suggest she meets with people for collaborations in hotels with men. None of us know which were days she was in office. I told her parents because I felt they should know the truth and maybe convince her to stop. They confronted her and told her to move out. Since then, she's been very upset with me and accused me of ruining her life and that she'll have to live in a hotel because of me. She also posted about the situation online, calling me out publicly and saying that I exposed her. Now I feel guilty that she was asked to leave, but I also felt her parents had a right to know what was going on and maybe convince her not to go down this path. Too Long Didn't Read found out my niece makes adult videos and told her parents. So, for starters, she's an adult. She could do what she wants. But also, when going through your post history, I found out that you posted this to several subreddits where you were promptly dragged through the mud like you should have been. And I also found this comment thread. You know your comment history's public, right, dude? User United Plum 1671 comments, "You're wrong, and that doesn't change simply because you posted it somewhere else." OP responds, "If your 5 or 6-year-old did that line of work, would you not be upset?" United Plum, in an equal amount of shock and dismay, responds, "Did you just compare a fucking 19-year-old adult to a damn child? This doesn't help your argument in the least. This just makes you sound even more unhinged." OP, trying to respond and cover face, "No, I'm talking about when your child grows up and becomes a 19-year-old. Would you want to know about this kind of situation? Make sure your child is safe?" AdMurky1021 responds further, trying to get to the bottom of this. "You said a 5 or 6-year-old, not a grown child. Go fuck yourself on behalf of your ex-niece, as she won't claim you as her family anymore." OP responds, "It's 5 or 6 now, but in the future it'll be 19. Okay. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but that was probably the most dog shit way of ever trying to explain that, because he's trying to say, you know, your daughter's 5 or 6 now, how would you feel in the future if she got into that line of work? But that's not how that comes across, my dude. At all. And I'm giving you so much benefit of the doubt with that reinterpretation of your comment, which doesn't say that in the slightest, because you just said, if your 5 or 6-year-old did that line of work, would you not be upset? Dog, this is some of the worst optics I've ever seen. And that means something coming from me. And I just want to point out the fact that your concern was that your niece was getting into a dangerous field of work, which is understandable. There is a lot of exploitation in that field, which is why online content creation in this field is actually one of the safer ways to do it. However, what you just did is cut her safety net. You actually just put her in the exact situation that you were trying to save her from. So congrats on fucking up that badly, I guess. I feel horrible for your niece. Also, congrats on accidentally outing yourself by saying it came across on your TikTok feed. Not once did you ever state that it was part of the people you may know category that TikTok will throw your way sometimes because it searches your contacts without your permission, which I fucking hate. Thankfully, that's pretty easy to turn off though. It's just a checkbox in your account settings, which I assume that your niece would have done so. Could have definitely been locational based, which if that's the case, that means that your TikTok algorithm saw, hey, here's a young adult content actress. I think you'd be interested in her content. Which that says a lot about you if that's what your algorithm's feeding you, because my TikTok algorithm has never fed me stuff like that. It gives me videos of cats and dogs being goobers. It gives me Ring doorbell footage fails. It gives me, Marvel Rivals clips, a lot of them, and advertisements for Transformers, and 3D printer stuff, and things that I'm actually interested in. Not once have I ever actually been shown like an adult actress as you might be interested in, pursuing this kind of content. I've seen NSFW artists pop up in my feed, and that's my fault. And I know it's my fault. So stop saying in your comments that TikTok just does that. I've been using it for 6 years, and it's never once just done that to me. Huh. Damn, that's crazy. According to my watch, it's outro o'clock. Do you know what that means? Gamer subs, use code KEYZ at checkout. No, seriously, use code KEYZ at checkout because every time one of you guys makes a purchase, it actually directly supports the channel, and it also increases the chances that I get another drop and potentially a flavor. I'm so fucking close. But you use code KEYZ, you get 10% off, and if you don't quite want to commit to a purchase a flavor, you can always get free samples. But also, you can search in the non-anime section on the storefront to get things that aren't anime related. And what I will say is their shirts are comfy as fuck, alright? As a pajama shirt, phenomenal. I've got a few gamer sub shirts that don't have the anime waifu stuff on them, so they're, they can go beyond just being pajama shirts or around the house shirts, and I can wear them out in public. Oh my god, they're so comfy. They're so breathable. They're so good. It's the kind of fabric when you put it on, it feels cold, but in a good way. It's the soft cold. Doesn't feel dry, it just feels good. I don't know how to explain it. Anyone who's bought an Oz shirt can 100% confirm that, of how comfy and stretchy they are. I try to wear them on stream pretty often because they're just great for streaming. I also should have updates on the office situation very soon, potentially even pictures by the end of the week, maybe, if I can paint fast enough.